We're here in Southern California to drive the new 2025 Acura MDX Type S. With all the new improvements, is it a better buy in the luxury three-row crossover segment than ever before? Today we'll find out. We got pie waiting for me at the Julian Pie Company. We also have this waiting for us, the refresh 2025 MDX. It was actually one of the first vehicles I ever tested here on the channel. I remember living in Nebraska, the new MDX of 2022 came out, and I remember throwing it through the snow that we had back there. Fast forward 3.5 years, we have the nice refresh here on the new 2025 MDX. You'll see some familiarities here. We still have that aggressive, beautiful hood. We have the jewel eye headlights with the chicane style running lights. That has not changed. What has changed is this grille. So the Type S gets a new slotted grille for better breathability. We have new sensors, millimeter wave sensors behind the Acura logo for the AcuraWatch 360, which is exclusive here on this Type S. And I'll talk more about that when I'm driving this out on the highway. We also have a new camera nestled right in there that's going to improve the accuracy and the safety of this vehicle. The Diamond Pentagon grille is now bezel-less. We first saw that happen in the new Integra, and the refreshed TLX went that route too. So the grille looks a little bit bigger now. It looks a little bit more aggressive, and it looks much more in part of the Acura family, like the Integra and the TLX. Other than the Diamond Pentagon grille changes, there's a new grasshopper trying to get us, guys. They love this vehicle. Anyways, we have these huge black sporty bezels with the fog lights underneath of them. What do I think of it? Well, in pictures and video, I wasn't a big fan. I think I preferred the old style a little bit more, and I still might, but this is growing on me, so I'll give it some time. And when you see the new MDX Type S in your rear view mirror, I think it does look quite aggressive, quite, let's say, eye-catching if it's on your tail. All right, let's get away from the front end. We have new Berlina black machine finish 21-inch wheels here. These Continental Cross Contact all-weather tires, I think, are perfectly fine. I felt like I had tons of grip driving up here through the mountains. And let's get a quick zoom in here on these beautiful 4-piston Brembo Acura brakes. Brembo's up front, non-Brembos in the back, but at least the back ones are painted red as well. We have more of those glossy black accents around the wheel arches, the door panels, the mirrors, the window surrounds, the roof rails all blacked out. This color is urban gray. I think we've seen it in other Acuras in the past, as well as maybe some Hondas, but I think it's new here on this MDX Type S for 2025. Coming to the back, beautiful Type S quad tip exhaust. We see a similar treatment to the TLX as well. Super handling all-wheel drive, of course, standard. Now lifting this up, it takes its time. It takes its time. But underneath here, underfloor storage. And since this is the best-selling three-row luxury crossover in America, there's your third row seats. We'll get into there a little bit, but a lot of people won't have this third row, assembled. And so it is real easy. And look at that beautiful flat floor, the nice materials on the back of the seats. That is definitely luxury. Tons of cargo space in here now. We have a power outlet, 180 watt, 12 volt, and I can press this walk away and it will go ahead and lower that. Now, it's no Type S without talking about the powertrain. That's one of the big benefits here. And the latch is over here to the side of these aluminum pedals. Lifting up the hood, it's nice to have shocks on each side. That's what I would expect in a luxury vehicle. The non-Type S models don't get this engine. This is the 3-liter turbocharged V6, 355 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic, standard whether you get the Type S or not. But if you decide to go for the standard MDX, that's going to be your non-Type S model, so A-Spec, the Advanced, the Tech Package, the base model, for example. Those still give you the beautiful 3.5-liter single overhead cam, naturally aspirated V6 with 290 horsepower. And I think that's going to be perfectly fine for the majority of MDX buyers. I don't know if the microphone or the camera are going to pick it up well. Even with this vehicle running and with the AC on, it's very, very quiet. I've heard electric cars much more loud than this with the AC pumping. And now we have the engine idling. It's very, very quiet just sitting here in the sun. All right, let's get into the back seats. Of course, we have sunshades, but we already have a darkened, you could say, privacy glass back here. Now, this is dual pane at this point. Check that out. That is a very nice acoustic glass here that is standard on the Type S as well as the upper trims of the MDX. Bang & Olufsen sound system. It replaces ELS. I'll talk more about that in my driving impressions. This orchid interior, the materials here in the door are fantastic. Type S skid plate. Let's go ahead and use the jump seat there to get into the back. Even the back seats have a really nice Milano leather to them feel. It's very premium. Now, there's not the world's greatest legroom back here. This is definitely for little kids. My little girls would have no problem fitting back here. They have USB-A's on each side. You have speakers here. There's 31 speakers with this crazy new Bang & Olufsen sound system. Just so much immersion with the sound. Now, this is the removable middle seat that Acura is super smart with. Let's go ahead. I'm not going to remove it, but this is something competitors just can't figure out. Honda and Acura have figured this out. You can use this as a storage, an armrest, a cup holder, or you grab this little lever, flip it up, and then there's your 7th seat. So you can have captain's chairs here if you want it. You can have this seat here, and the seat also removes completely if you don't need it with some of the controls down here. So Acura, one of my favorite things about the MDX is just its versatility, always thinking about families and the needs of a family. And check out these rear seats. Look at the stitching here. The piping is very, very nice. And they are heated outboard. They are not massaging, they're not ventilated, but they are heated outboard. I like having the climate control back here as well. The vents are blowing nice and cold. And that's something I forgot to mention in the back. There are no vents in the 3rd row, unfortunately. But I have good news for you guys. The AC does blow really cold in here. Compared to the pilots I've tested in the past, it's a much better AC system. So power outlet here, again, you'll need your own adapter for the 12 volt 180 watt. We have 2 USB-Cs in the back. Here's your panel roof, which is of course standard here on this Type S model. Look at these chunky seats that I can't wait to get into. Opening up the front door. Good materials. Here's your little blind spot indicator. I like that it's on the inside and it's very, very clear instead of having to look all the way to the outside of the mirror. It's just a nice safety feature, and we'll talk again more about the safety features when we're driving. Memory seats for the driver with this nice wood trim. Again, more stitching, soft touch. That blacked out Bang & Olufsen speaker grille there. More Type S signage with this scuff plate. These bolsters are adjustable with the, I think they're 16-way seats. Bolsters are adjustable, thigh extension. These seats kick butt. You also have that Type S here stamped into the headrest. It looks better over there on the passenger. Love that detail here on these seats. These seats are super comfortable, very, very big, and they're customizable with all the adjustments for people of all sizes. All right, let's straighten out the wheel here. Beautiful steering wheel. Stitching, well, it's early production, so I'm not going to judge it too much. The stitching's not up to luxury quality, I would say, especially in this area right here, but that's just me being super picky about luxury cars. Type S right here with this kind of flat bottom steering wheel, paddle shifters. We have the new AcuraWatch technology kind of baked into the right hand side of the steering wheel, heated steering wheel. Love the volume control here. You can turn on and off the radio with the press of the button. We have this digital screen back here. I think it's a 10, it could be a 12-inch, I forget. It doesn't really matter. It is fantastic. It is customizable as well with the buttons on the steering wheel. So it's super snappy too. I haven't played with it a whole lot before this, but yes, it integrates with the Google Maps with the new Google built-in screen here, which, by the way, here's the 360 camera. Super handy in a vehicle, a large 3-row crossover, but just check out how snappy everything is here. You can use the new Google Maps that are built in with the software here with obviously Google built-in. Just everything is just so snappy. There's no waiting around. I think that I've like died and gone to heaven with car software here. Look at it, just no lag, very, very smooth. Ambient lighting here, you have tons of ambient lighting. in the MDX. It's a little bit different compared to the outgoing model, and I'll talk about that with the sound system later. But yeah, Android Auto, it's wireless. My phone is in my pocket right now, and it says it's starting Android Auto. There it goes. My phone just gave me a confirmation as well. It immediately started playing some Dre. We'll talk about how Dre and Snoop sound on this new Bang & Olufsen sound system, so stay tuned for that in this video. New 12-inch screen. Guys, it's just, look at this. Look how responsive that is. Acura, I'm just super impressed. I'll keep talking about it, I'm sure, in this video today. Heated and ventilated seats, shortcut to the massager seats. This is a little bit strange with dynamic mode, but hey, at least I have dedicated buttons to change the driving modes here, unlike Lexus, for example, with their new vehicles. This is what the front end of, I'm gonna go back to that, because these animations are not for the Type S. As you can see, I don't have quad exhaust here, so that kind of gives you an idea of what the non-Type S models look like and the non-A-spec. I think this design, in my opinion, I'll see you guys down below, but I think the design on the non-A-spec, non-Type S models, so if you just get an advanced or technology, it'll look like this. I think it looks the best. Yes, there's an individual mode, adaptive suspension. You have air suspension in here as well. One ding, even though I have beautiful wood here, it's unfortunately overpowered by the amount of dust and fingerprint collecting glossy black piano plastic that flows into the doors. It's all over the dash. Luckily it's not too much over here, but look at all this dust it's collecting around the drive controls. We have USB-C, USB-A, auto brake hold button that you have to reapply, I believe, every single time you restart the car. Since we have this awesome touchscreen here, we don't have the True Touch interface, which was the touchpad. So this area here has been reworked, a little key carrier. We have the wireless charger in a really nice spot. The armrest is awesome. What else? Oh, we have a little tunnel here for your charging needs. We have USB-C charge and USB-C data, which also charges. And check this out. This is one of the zings I had on the ZDX. The ZDX storage compartment has no like felt or rubber. Here on every single side is felt, and there's a rubber piece at the bottom. So I feel like the luxury, the materials, the details with the stitching, like this is all soft touch right here where your knee is going to come in contact. Only thing is the glossy black plastic, but everything else, as we see that Type S back up over there, looks really, really nice in motion. Everything about this vehicle screams like really well thought out, high luxury materials. For the price point, it's excellently executed. And they have just stitching in all these cool places here that is really easy on the eye. So well done, Acura, with the interior, the technology, the improvements everywhere where it needed the most improvements. So let's go ahead and put it on the road and see how it does in these beautiful mountain roads. The driving impressions, we're starting on the highway because with this new AcuraWatch 360 system, it helps you change lanes for you. All right, so make sure radar cruise control is on, then you set, and then make sure you also have the lane keep assist system on. And if I press the blinker here and hold it, it just turned for me. I didn't do any pushing of the steering wheel myself. Now there's sensors all over the car to sense other vehicles around you to let you know if it's going to be safe, right? Blind spot monitor right there just went off, so it's not going to let me change lanes. But let's see if it happens now. All right, held it for about 1.5 seconds, and it changed lanes for me. Pretty cool. How often would you guys need to do that? I don't know, but it's a pretty cool thing, and it's very smooth, and it's very, it doesn't feel jerky at all. And if you push the steering wheel just a little bit, it will cancel moving for you, and it'll give you full manual override, so it never fights you. So Acura's added a lot of sound deadening for the upper trims here. We have more sound deadening in the doors than before. We have acoustic glass that go to the back windows, the double pane glass that keeps unwanted sounds out. And they also reworked the wheel arch area to make it even quieter than it was before. And overall, I mean, I'm on a pretty loud highway here with monster trucks, as you guys can see. This highway is a bit noisy for the highway itself. It feels very quiet, very smooth, very luxurious, and that's what I want from a 3-row premium SUV. And then pedal down, I don't remember the MDX giving that much turbo hiss in the past. So I don't know if that's something they added to the 2025 model, but I haven't driven a Type S MDX in a while, but that was, it sounds good. It sounds really, really good, and something you don't get a lot from a luxury SUVs. You know, Acura doesn't try to hide the fact that they're the performance version of Honda vehicles, right? And so even though it's a luxury SUV, it's a flagship, they're not trying to completely remove you from that experience. And it pulls well. Pulls this 355 horsepower. I mean, I was going downhill there, that helps, but it is amplified by the sound. You get a more engaging experience, a more rewarding experience for burying your foot into the pedal. And compared to like the ZDX Type S, that is no doubt faster than this has a more rewarding feel to it compared to the fully electric, you could say, brother version of this vehicle. Unfortunately, the ZDX only has 2 rows, but yeah, if you need 3 rows, the MDX is there for you, and it has been for decades, as it is Acura's best-selling vehicle. Now for road trips, you might want to put it into comfort mode, and I immediately did feel the softening in the road happen, all right? The suspension's much more compliant, more soft. So even though I have the massive wheels and the low profile tires here, this air suspension does a really good job, and this adaptive suspension does a good job when you want comfort. Now what's cool is that this head-up display, not only is it super bright and huge font, it gives me directions that matches up with my Android Auto. So you don't have to use a Google built-in to get that awesome head-up display integration with navigation directions or turn by turn. It's really, really cool. So I appreciate that Acura has incorporated that here into this incredible head-up display. Oh my gosh, this road's actually smooth compared to the highway, and combined with the comfort mode that it's in right now, absolute butter. And it is so quiet. Road quality plays a big portion here. Oh my goodness. That is very, very impressive, Acura, with how quiet the MDX is. I got, you know, we had to run that yellow, right? Because we have this turbocharged 3-liter that needs to stretch its legs every once in a while. We're gonna test these Brembo brakes out, right? We have 4-piston Brembo brakes up front. This huge SUV has no business stopping that predictably. Not only does it have a good bite, these brakes don't have any fade, any weirdness going on with them. Absolute A+ brake feel here on the Type S MDX. Now this thing is going to be an amazing road trip car for a lot of people out there. I'll tell you my fuel economy here. It says 22 miles per gallon, but it's been a lot of stop and go so far. The Type S as well as the advanced models come with this special button, which is the massaging front seats. You can press and hold to customize with 10 different massaging settings. And yes, it even gets your butt a little bit. I'm a big fan of having not just back massage, but bum massage, because that's where most of the pressure is when you're driving for long periods of time. But you don't have to hold the button to turn it on. In fact, I can just toggle this without really looking at the screen, right? I know it's on, right? I can see the 3 buttons right here. I'm just gonna dismiss that. And then back into the excellent brakes. Oh yeah, so much bite and predictability with that pedal. It's fantastic. The ventilated seat is working really well, even though it's just on 1 bar. Now with this new touchscreen, the location of it is fine. And honestly, at least for my height, it feels like I'm looking down on the screen, and the screen is kind of it feels like it's angled to, if someone's head was sitting about right here. If Acura tilted this up or gave us the option to tilt this a little bit, I think that would be even better. But yeah, it's just, I feel like the MID here behind the steering wheel is angled pretty much towards my face, where this is angled off to the center seat, and the second row is what it's angled towards. But that doesn't, I mean, honestly, that's not hurting the visibility of it at all. And unfortunately, the brightness is up all the way. I wish it was just a tad bit brighter for this large, brand new touchscreen. But my gosh, is it super zippy, super fast. Very, very impressive with this new Google built-in. There's no lag. There's so many cars that, just about every single car, I should say, has lag with their touchscreen. There's none of that going on here. It's just everything about it is instant. Even in Android Auto, it's super zippy, responsive. You're not waiting around. And that's important for safety too, because like if you're driving and you press something but it doesn't respond to you, and then you go to press it again and then you realize it did respond, it just takes forever. So it's just, it can get messy if it's not a responsive touchscreen. And in a car, you want it to be as responsive as possible for safety, and Acura has hit it out of the park with this new screen and the new software. I couldn't be happier with it, to be honest. No better way to test out the new Bang & Olufsen sound system in Southern California than listen to Dre and Snoop, which of course I can't play for you guys, I'd get copyright strike. But what do I think about the new Bang & Olufsen sound system? Well, I haven't tested the bass one, but on the upper trims, you get this really, really fancy, like 1700 watts, 31 speakers. What does it sound like? Well, the highs sound great and distinct, the mids sound great and distinct. I'm understanding Dre and Snoop better than ever before. The bass, yeah, even for fancy, super loaded out factory sound systems from these cars, the bass usually falls flat for me. Why? Well, I used to rock kicker 12-inch subwoofers in my car growing up, you know, in the streets of small town Nebraska. Do I wish we had more bass here? Absolutely do I wish I had more bass. Not only that, I wish I had more top-end volume. Now, this is replacing the award-winning ELS audio system, which no one had any problems with, but Acura decided to move on to Bang & Olufsen. And I would say it's like it's maybe an upgrade or a lateral move. The sound system is not worse than the ELS, and that's a good thing. The ELS was top of the class, but the ELS for me never had enough like top-end volume where I want my ears almost to hurt a little bit to my favorite songs. I have the same situation here. For most people, it's going to be plenty loud. For me, I wish it gave me 25% more volume, 50% volume. It caps out at what's called 40 volume through the software. I wish it capped out at like 55 volume. What does that mean for decibels? I have no idea. It's just that what my ears want. I want a lot more top-end volume, a lot more low-down bass. But despite that, overall, what are my thoughts of the sound system? It's really, really, really good. All right, I don't think anyone's going to be that disappointed by it, if disappointed at all, because mids, highs, A+, bass is like a B, I would say. Overall volume, probably like a B+. All right, so overall, it's probably like an A- sound system, which, hey, it's fantastic. So well done, Acura, going to Bang & Olufsen. The speaker ornamentation here with these grills, the tweeters and the A-pillar, they did a really good job. It's not quite as fancy as the old ELS that had like the LEDs that were customizable within the cones of the tweeters. We don't have that going on anymore, so it's not quite as techy, but it's definitely a little bit, I would say from the design of it, it's a little bit more incognito, but the sound is just as good, in my opinion, as the ELS from a novice audiophile. I wouldn't even call myself just a rap listening to kid from Nebraska. It's a good sound system. All right, we just turned it into Sport Plus mode. We know that the MDX Type S accelerates well, 0 to 66 seconds, it brakes so well. That's one of my favorite things about the dynamics of this vehicle are the brakes. And yeah, we got stuck behind a van, so I was about ready to throw it in a turn. And it makes for some good video to have some motorcycles in front of us, but then we get, you know, a worker van holding us up. I remember stretching this vehicle's legs a little bit more with less traffic during the original media drive 2 years ago. And I really like how this vehicle handles, even though it is huge. Steering feels pretty good here. Let's get around this van. Thank you, brother. Oh yeah, lots of grip. The sound of the V6 is pretty good, even with the piped in noise here. Yeah, lots of grip here. That's all I can say. Like, I just feel really planted. The all-wheel drive, I'm not accelerating hard out of the turns due to, you know, having some really cool motorcycles in front of me. But this system does rotate the vehicle quite well. I've essentially used the same system on Laguna Seca and the TLX Type S, and it's just really, really impressive how easy it is to drive these super handling all-wheel drive Acuras in the turns. And yeah, you don't have to think too much. You don't have to worry about, you know, the rear wheels getting out. You're not going to get squirrely or anything because the power is going to all wheels, and each individual wheel will get the right amount of torque and everything. So the all-wheel drive here is one of the best in the business. And it feels right at home here in this big performance SUV. And this engine is straight up Honda through and through, even though we don't see it on any Honda models. We only see it on Acura models, but it's created by Honda. And this 3-liter single turbo is so smooth. That Honda reputation of having linear power bands, there go the motorcycles, linear power bands, smooth operations, ultra refined. That's what's going on here with this 3-liter V6 single turbo. Pedal down. Absolutely flawless. Could I always use more power? Of course, but I would say for the price point, the refinement, the power and the refinement for the price point is, I'm very, very happy with it. But how cool would it be to have an extra 50 horsepower, get to 400 horse? That'd be pretty exciting, but that's just not the reality of the situation. 355. It does great pulling this vehicle, like I said, to 60 miles an hour in 6 seconds. After that, as I just found out, kind of going through the mountains there, smooth after 60. But then it starts kind of running out of steam a little bit to pull this heavy SUV. And the thing is, Acura has made the Type S not just increased acceleration over, if you, let's say the A-Spec with the advanced package. Yes, that provides pretty much a similar luxury, but you get better brakes here, you get a better engine, you get the air ride suspension. And those things add up, in my opinion, to make this Type S definitely worth the price of admission. It doesn't mean that the A-Spec or the A-Spec Advance or the Advance or even the base model aren't good buys. Those are excellent buys too. I think Acura's done a great job overall with the packaging of this vehicle. But yeah, that Type S, even though it just has one option, it's just available with the Advance now. You don't get the base Type S anymore on the MDX. I think this is the right way to do it for Acura. And I think probably the take rate, I'm going to go back into normal or comfort mode because the suspension's really, really stiff. Over the small bumps in the road, you definitely feel it. So going back to comfort here, where I can just get back into my road trip mode. But yes, anyways, Type S, fantastic, worth the money, even though there's no longer a base Type S anymore. It's more refined than ever, I have better tech than ever before. It's an excellent luxury SUV, and it's also an excellent sport SUV. And you kind of blend them together here, and Acura has a winning formula. Doubling down on what they do really well with the world's best, or should I say the USA's best anyways, luxury 3-row crossover. They got this formula figured out, and I thought it was pretty much figured out in the 2022. And this is just better in every little way, with the safety, with the ride, with the quietness, compared to the 2022 and beyond MDXs. So well done with the refresh here. The styling is subjective. I'll see you guys definitely down below in the styling, but overall it is a more refined MDX, and I'm happy with what I'm driving here. So thank you guys, thank you Acura for sending me out here to drive the MDX Type S. I can't wait to get it back home so we can test it with the family, right? Very few people would be getting the MDX if it's just 1 or 2 people. I'm sure there are plenty of 1 or 2 people households that have an MDX Type S, but with kids, I'm really testing its capacities, and I can't wait to bring the new one home for a week-long loaner in the near future. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you Acura again for bringing me out here to drive the awesome new MDX and Type S here out in these amazing highway mountain roads in Southern California. Have a great day and peace.